All right, welcome to the Leave Hungry podcast. I'm Carlos Fernandez, your host, and I'm here with one of my best friends, Jacob Whitehead. What's going on, Brody? You ready?
Ready, bro.
All right, man. So we talked about busyness, and we tried to answer the question, am I busy? And if you're, we teased out a lot of stuff, but we pretty much said that the devil, he's trying to make you busy so that God can't make you holy, so that God can't sanctify you, that you'll be conformed to the world and not be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And we didn't really get to practical steps. And so I just want to spend our time practically talking about how we can make sure that we can kind of guard against just trying to be busy and start investing our time in the right things. And yeah, I just want to practically talk through that. And like I said, we are not experts in this by any means, but I think that we're growing in it and we're trying to get better at it. So please hear it from that angle. We're just going to talk about the things that we've experienced. We're still growing. We're still trying to get better at this. And I hope that what God is doing in and through us and our schedules will help you out. So does that make sense?
Yeah.
So let's try this. If somebody is super busy and they want to start organizing their life in a way that they start to really manage their time well, how would you encourage them? What would you tell them to practically do?
Yeah.
I got a couple things. We'll start with you. What do you think?
Yeah. Well, I think last episode I said this too, that our decisions determine our direction. And so I would say, again, time is something you do control as much as your yes and your no goes. So let's get control of your decisions to see what you want for your life. And so
I like that.
So I would say get out a piece of paper, Google Calendar, and I need you to write down what are the things you have to do. So go ahead and put work in there. You work 40 hours a week, 50 hours a week, but again, have to do. Just because you want to do above and beyond, we'll get to the extra stuff, like above and beyond if you do extra hours or things like that. What are the things you have to do? And I would think you'd go through work, so like your vocation. I'd go through time if you're married, time with your spouse. If you're a parent, time with your kids. And you need to map these out. You always can have spontaneous moments, but you need to map these out. Like if it gets on the calendar, like I want to be, again, I love what you said last episode. Our calendars don't control us. We control our calendars, but we want to be a people of our word. If we put it on the calendar, that's something we're saying we're committing to. And so you need to sit down maybe with your spouse, family times, like when you're going to have those family times with the kid, times with the kids, times with your spouse, times with maybe deep friends once a month, things like that. Like basically what you need to do is you need to look at the things you have to do, the relationships that you need to have that either fill you up, that you need to steward well and be responsible. They get you first. Obviously, I would say first before anything, where's God at on your schedule? So you might need to, and then this is where you see sacrifice. A lot of times when people are making their schedules, they're like, okay, I need to be at work at 6:30. So they're like, I'll spend time with God at 6. And it's like, no, you won't. You got to get up and you got to get ready. So like you have to be really realistic of like, no, I need to actually, if I'm going to spend ample time with God, I need to get up at 5:15 to give him 30 minutes because at 5:45, I need to start brushing my teeth. I need to get in the shower. I got to cook breakfast and I got to leave the house at 6:15. So I get you want to spend time with God at 6, but you got to be at the house at 6:15. You got to get ready. So you can't be getting up at 6. Maybe if you get up at 5:15. So all I'm saying is be overly realistic. Again, you control your time. Put the things that you need done on there, and that will help you. That will help you control a lot of the overexertion and feeling behind on things and not getting done the things you want to get done. Like good intentions don't always mean that you're living an intentional life. No, good intentions help you put the right things on the calendar, and then being disciplined to do the things you put on the calendar means you're being very intentional.
Yeah, no, that's so good. Just have an intentional calendar. And so just time with God, you don't want to rush that time. That's going to be some good time.
Yep.
And so I think for me, what I try to do, my calendar is I try to commit to it. So if this is a time that I've put down to read, to pray, to write, to work out, like I'm trying to commit to it. But then also I'm trying to learn from it. Is this working? And I'm adjusting slightly, a little bit over here, a little bit over there. But I do try to schedule everything now. I'm trying to schedule my time with God. I'm trying to, hey, I'm going to pray at this time. I'm going to read at this time. And what's happening is when I schedule it, I want more of it.
Yep,
and good. So if I have a little bit of downtime or a meeting got canceled or I'm just at the coffee shop just chilling, I'll crack open my Bible and start reading. I'll pull out my iPad and start praying, just writing down my prayers. And so I think that just know that what that scheduled time is going to help you do is look at those unscheduled times, and it's just going to help. Again, you're beginning to have a discipline about it, but then also be realistic. A lot of us are so ambitious that we say we're going to wake up at 4:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
And, we're going to do all these things. And so I just say, just start somewhere. Like 5 minutes, 5 good minutes with God is way better than 30 minutes just rushing through something, trying to just, check the checklist off and saying I did it. And so just know, like, you want to have quality time with God. Not just any time, quality time with him. And so I just think scheduling it and then committing to it, like commit to your calendar. But then I love the fact there's these quadrants. There are 4 quadrants of like the way you're supposed to work. I don't know all of them, but if I were to put them down, it'd be the things that are vitally important.
Yeah.
Things that are kind of important, things that I want to get to, and things that don't really matter. And so just organizing your life in those quadrants, right? But then also, one exercise I did a long time ago, and I still do it now. I even walk people through it. I think about the person that I want to be 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years from now, and then I track backwards. And so if I want to be that person, what are the things that I need to do today in order to become that person? Yeah, and so that helps me organize that time too. So if I want to be a godly husband and a godly dad and a godly friend, and I just want to be a follower of Jesus. So that means that I need to spend time with Jesus. I need to spend time with my wife. I need to spend time with my kid. I need to spend time with my friends. Like I need to spend time with us. So that's going to organize my calendar. If I want to be a writer, that means I'm going to write today so that I can be a writer tomorrow. Like that's helping me. And I'm like vision casting for myself. So that helps me organize my calendar. And I had to really look at this because, man, a couple of months ago, I was like, man, I just don't have time to do any of the things that I want to do. I feel like I'm just busy to be busy. And so I sat down one day, it took me like a couple hours, and I was like, all right, I'm only going to meet with people on these certain days. And I don't care if people get mad. Because some people are getting so frustrated. And I'm not going to lie, they want sometimes the best times. And so when people want to hang out on a Friday night, I tell them, and that's the day I'm hanging out with my wife. Fridays and Saturdays are reserved for my wife.
Yeah.
And
Shabbat with the family.
Huh?
Shabbat with the family.
Yeah, but I just think that that's okay. And if that's the only day that they can meet, then unless my wife has something going on, I'm just trying to keep that open. And so I try to guard some times, and then I also try to guard time with God. Like in the mornings, I'm not trying to schedule stuff before 8:00.
It's good.
And I'm trying to spend time with God. I'm trying to get to the coffee shop early. I'm trying to read before I get to work. I'm trying to pray and do all those things just before that. And so I'm just trying to be really proactive, and I plan it. Like I even schedule it on the calendar and I put it there. And so when I wake up, that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I have a thing on my calendar on Mondays at 1:00 where I pray for young adults. It's on my calendar at 1:00. I even have an alarm. I'm praying for the young adult ministry that God has allowed me to be a part of and to steward, and I'm just praying for them. And I got it on my calendar. So at 1:00, and now people, when they hang out with me and it's 1:00 and they hear the alarm and they say, "Who are we praying for?" And I'm like, "We're praying for young adults. Let's go." And then I would say, like, there's a time for, man, I'm just casting vision. I'm asking God, like, what do you want me to do with the ministry that he has given me, that he's allowed me to be a part of and to steward. And so, like, from 1 to 2, after I pray for young adults, I cast vision. I plan, and I just dream. And I got that in my calendar, and so I'm just putting stuff on my calendar that I need to do and want to do, and then I'm going off the things that other people need me to do. And so obviously, because you work a job, sometimes you can't have that type of calendar, but then I know the things that I can be flexible in. Like even my calendar, like you'll see it has different colors and all this stuff, and I just think that that's important. So practically for me, I'm trying to work backwards. This is the person I want to be, so these are the things that I have to do today to kind of become that person. And then I'm just trying to prioritize the things that are so important. And then I'm looking at Jesus' life and say, what did he prioritize? Let me mimic him. He prioritized time with God. I love Mark 1, where he worked late into the night, still woke up early to spend time with God. And people were looking for him. Like, Jesus, where you been?
Yeah.
He's praying.
Yeah, so good.
praying. That's what he was doing. And so I want to be that type of person. And so I'm trying to get better at that, man. I'm trying to go to bed at a decent time and wake up at the right time so I can spend the amount of time that I want to spend time with God and in His Word and reading and just learning more and growing. Like that's in my calendar. And so practically, man, you got to put that in your calendar. And all of our jobs are different, our schedules are different. But I will tell you that in order to do that, you'll have to sacrifice some stuff.
Yep.
You can't, like I used to play basketball all the time, bro. I can't play as much basketball as I want to. Maybe once a week, maybe, and it's okay. Like the thing I'm giving up is not as important as the thing that I'm gaining.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gaining equity with my friends and family. I'm gaining equity with my wife. I'm gaining equity with God. I'm just gaining gaining so much stuff from organizing my schedule. And then I'm also looking back, and at the end of the week, I'm not asking myself,
did I waste it?
Did I waste my week?
Yeah.
What'd I do today? Man, like everything, like the day's gone.
Yeah, it's just a blur.
You know, like you can't even remember what's going on. And so I just don't want that feeling.
Yeah.
And so some weeks are like that. Most weeks aren't because I'm organizing.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No, for sure. Yeah, I think that's so good. Just the importance. And I love how it just keeps connecting to the last episode of just like, dude, we really do get to choose what we do with our time and being proactive as opposed to reactive of just like, oh, that sounds like a good thing to do. Let's say yes. It's like, no, you get to plan all of the things you want to invest in. And when you plan for it, you also get to prepare for the cost of saying no to some things. Like you and I prepare in order to spend time with our wife. Dude, we could be out hanging out with people from our church. We could be out serving and discipling more. But there's a reality that as men, and our responsibility as husbands is to serve and love and give to our wives. That's a yes to them, and it's a no to someone else. And like that has to be okay, you know? And that's where, again, we can't live off of where we can get busy is trying to satisfy everyone's expectation of us.
Yeah, let people get mad.
And it's like, dude, I love you. I'll sit down and have the conversation with you. But no, my wife, my God gets my first. My wife gets my next first. My kids get my next first. And then close friends get my next first. And then we'll keep going until I'm spent, you know? And then I'm going to go back to God and get filled up again. And I'm going to spend myself again. What I can't do, I love what one of my other mentors, shout out Leilani Sosmore. She said it's a really, really cool thing. We talk about time management. She said she learned a really cool tool. She said, fill up your schedule with 80% of your day. If you maximize all 100% of your day, what you'll find out is you're almost giving 120%. We don't have 120% to give. Make your schedule where you have some blank out, like some white spaces in your calendar where you've got everything you need done in 80% of your day, because there will be those inconveniences. There will be those interruptions. And what happens is if you're so maxed out, what will happen is you'll be forced, if you're going to say yes to the interruption, you'll be forced to say no to the thing you actually planned for. And so I actually love that advice, because sometimes we plan almost to all capacity. Don't plan to capacity. Plan to 80% of your capacity. Yeah. Leave 20% of every day open for either time for yourself and extra time with God, for extra time with your spouse, for extra time with your kids, for extra times for an interruption. Like, leave yourself a little bit of extra time, because if you don't, you'll start giving 120%, and then you'll start feeling you can't give 120%.
Yeah.
So you just feel behind on the things you know you should have managed well.
Yeah. What you're saying is build in margin.
Build in margin. Yep.
Have some time that is just open. You know, like if you look at my schedule, that like I have some blocks of time that I know that I can do extra stuff in there. And so when people walk into my office and they want to talk, I can pause, because I know that I have time, you know? And so I love that, man. That's really, really good. But Dave Ramsey says, and this is about money, but he says, make sure that every dollar has like a name. And so for you, I do think that you should have every minute accounted for. And so even the minute that's just for margin, like, I just have free time right now. It's totally fine.
Yeah.
Build that into your schedule.
For sure.
Whatever that free time looks like throughout the day, like just build it in so that every minute will have a name.
Yeah.
You know, everything has a purpose. And so I just think those are some small practical ways that you could do it. But then I would also like, just to keep it on Jesus, just try to mimic Jesus. Whatever he prioritized, you prioritize.
Yep.
Just do that. Like, read the Gospels for yourself and write down, what was Jesus worried about? What was he doing? Early in the morning, what did he do? Who did he spend time with? Who was he eating with? Who was he talking to? You know, like, just ask those questions. Like, you're examining his life and you're trying to mimic it. Right? Same thing with Paul. Same thing with all these other people that were, you know, in the Bible. But also there are some amazing, great Christians who are no longer with us, but we got their biographies. Read there and figure out what they were doing. Like, take notes of other people's life and then learn and take from. I love when I can learn something. I was like, man, I'm gonna steal that and I'm gonna put that into my life. Like, I'm just gonna add that into my schedule. I'm gonna find a way. And I love the fact that, like, I'm trying to meditate on the Word of God. I got this from you. Like, you just spend time pausing in Scripture, and I'm trying to do that. So I just schedule it out, and for me, it can't be an hour and a half, but it could be 30 minutes. So I just sit there. And I highlight, I mark, I look at words. I mean, I'm looking at the noun, the verb, the adjective. I'm just trying to just sit there and meditate. And I'm not gonna lie, like, what does Donald Whitney say? That meditation is the missing link between Bible reading and prayer. And so, like, there's just a lot of things that are happening in those spaces. And so, man, I just think, building in margin. But then also, like, there's just a discipline, man. One thing I would like to tell people: you're gonna fail. You're not always going to get it right. Have some grace for yourself. Like, you're just trying to improve and get better. Again, the devil wants to make you busy, so God can't make you holy. And so just allow God to pretty much be the ruler of your calendar, right? And I do think that means that you need to take control of it. Like, you need to talk to God first and ask him, hey, what are the things that I need to have on here, right? Like, get some counsel, you know? And the Holy Spirit is beautiful because he wants to counsel you. He wants to guide you. He wants to teach you.
Teach us to measure our days.
So good.
So good. Yeah, I don't think I got anything else. I mean, obviously there's just spiritual discipline practices of ingraining rhythms of slowing down in the middle of your day. That'll help you kind of reset when you feel anxious.
Yeah, you do a good job of that.
Or I try. I'm not perfect at it. The calendar helped. I had to actually change. I have a time with God. I have like a, hour-long midday prayer time that I try to honor really well. I used to call it my secret place time, and then I was really, I was pretty solid in that conviction for a little bit. Kind of waned off a little bit. I had to change the name of it to Meeting with God, because I knew if I was meeting with someone at 3:00, I probably wouldn't miss it. And so I was like, I need to make this felt, because right now and so even things like that, like, man, change the name of like some of the things you're doing, like put on the calendar, like don't just put family time, like everything has a name. I'm not just having secret place time, like, I'm going to my secret place. No, I'm meeting with God. If I was meeting with a person,
you'll be there.
I'd be there.
Time.
Yeah.
Especially if it's somebody you wanted to meet.
Yeah. And especially God of the universe. It's like, no. From 3 to 4, I'm meeting with God. If you call me at 3:45, I'm probably not going to answer because I'm in the third heaven. Or I'm trying to get there. No, I mean, I'm just being with him. I'm interceding. Yeah. I'm seeing what's on his heart. And I love what C.S. Lewis says, because this applies so much to all this stuff. When you're growing in a discipline of resisting the busyness of the world and trying to grow in the grace and knowledge of Christ Jesus, C.S. Lewis talks about prayer. He says, pray what you got. Don't pray what you should have. Like, you can compare yourself to be like, man, I should be getting up at 4 a.m. John Wesley got up at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
It's like, man, take from the greats, but your life is different. Make sure you're stewarding all the things that you need to. Well, I love, again, seek God for God. Where does my time need to go? We do this with our money, we do this with our gifts, and we do this with our time. God, what do you want me to invest in? And then, we didn't start off having midday prayer times with the Lord. We started off just trying to get consistent with our morning time with God.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. 5 minutes.
Yeah. And he can do a lot with a little.
Yes.
God can do a lot with a little.
I don't have enough time. Who cares, bro? Just give them the 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, man, that time will grow. That thing will multiply.
Yep.
Just bring them what you got. And I hate when people shame people and say, well, you need to spend more time with God. Yeah, everyone does.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Everyone does.
Yeah. We haven't got to the point where we've prayed without ceasing yet, have we?
Yeah, but just if it's 5 minutes, man, I'm going to tell you right now, that's going to be the best 5 minutes of your day.
And to encourage even further, if you don't want to do it, you cannot please God apart from faith. How much more faith does it take to show up even when you don't want to and you feel like you have so little to give? Versus when you're highly motivated, coming off the Camp High, great conference, you're intaking, you're in a fiery season. Oh, that's great. No, we're not discouraging a fiery season. We love those seasons. But man, when you feel like you have nothing to bring to God and you still show up, man, that blesses his heart.
and you're just still.
That blesses his heart.
So good.
Nothing pleases God apart from faith. Man, show up with your little. Show up with your brokenness. Show up with your shame, your guilt, your scars. Just show up to that place, and God, man, that blesses his heart.
Yeah.
Nothing pleases him apart from faith.
Yeah. I mean, think about it, man. Like I just think that for us, spending time with God, it needs to be on our calendar. And look, God will grow the time. If you can only do a little bit, show up with that small bit of time.
Yeah.
And he's going to grow it. Put that on him. Because this is what's going to happen. You're going to show up, and you're going to spend time, and you're going to pray, and you're going to love it. You're going to love it. And then you're going to want to spend some more time. And then what's going to happen is you're going to go because you absolutely love it.
Yeah.
Not because you have to, not because a pastor told you to, not because all the books say it. You're going to do it because you've experienced it.
Yeah,
And you've
it's-
seen,
it's
and
went
you've
from-
tasted and seen that the Lord is good.
It went from duty to delight.
Yeah. So, but you need to get there. Like,
Yeah.
like run to him. Don't run from him. Run to him. Wrestle with him. Talk to him. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm telling you, man, like even like you waking up, and it's gonna be crazy. A lot of people say, well, I'm not a morning person. Well, that's awesome. That's totally fine. We're not supposed to be us. We're supposed to be made new. We're supposed to be made more like Jesus. So the things that you used to do, you won't do anymore. You're just going to become a new person. So you're going to take on new habits. You're going to take on new things, and
Yeah, that's good.
you're going to be made new. And so
Yeah.
I think that we use this cop out like, oh, that's just not who I am. Well, that's cool because that's not who you're being made into.
Yeah.
And so just relax. If you need to wake up 30 minutes early just to spend time with God, do it.
Yeah.
If your best time is in the evenings, do it. But give him your best time. Don't give him any time. Give him the best time. And he's going to use the best time, you know? And so I just think practically just do it. Just start off. And if you got to start off small so it to grow, just like Jacob said, man, we started off too. Like it wasn't like this the whole time. And guess what? It's still growing.
Oh, for sure.
It's getting better every single year. It's becoming more vital. It's becoming more essential. Like it's just every single year, my quiet time it's more and more important. And what I've seen is I have to guard it even more.
Yeah.
And so put it on the calendar and guard it.
Yeah, for sure.
Guard it. So,
Good.
but yeah, with that being said, hey y'all, we hope this helped. We hope this encouraged you guys. Hey, we love you guys, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Peace.